Hello, 17th day of 30 days reading challenge. I am reading The Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, page 238. That's just the point that at the present moment Raskolnikov tried his utmost to find embarrassment. I am not quite in funds, and even this trifling sum is beyond me. I only wanted I only wanted you see for the present to declare that the things are mine and that when I have money, that's no matter. Answer Porfiry Petrovich, receiving his explanation his his pecuniary position coldly. But you can, if you prefer, write straight to me to say that having been informed of the matter and claiming such and such as your property, you pay. On an ordinary sheet of paper, Raskolnikov interrupted eagerly, again interested in the financial side of the question. Oh, the most ordinary. And suddenly, Porfiry Petrovich looked with obvious irony at him, screwing up his eyes and as it were winking at him. But perhaps it was Raskolnikov's fancy, or it all lasted but a moment. There was certainly something of the sort. Raskolnikov could have sworn he winked at him, goodness knows why. He knows flashed through his mind like lightning. Forgive my troubling you about such trifles, he went on, a little disconcerted. Things are only worth 5 rubles, but I price them particularly for the sake of those from whom they came to me, and I must confess that I was alarmed when I heard. That's why you were so much struck when I mentioned to Josimov that Porfiry was inquiring for everyone who had pledges. Razumohin went in with obvious intention. This was really unbearable. Raskolnikov could not help glancing at him with a flash of vindictive anger in his black eyes, but immediately recollected himself. You seem to be jeering at me, brother, he said to him with a well-feigned irritability. I dare say I do seem to you absurdly anxious about such trash, but you must not think me selfish or grasping for that, and these two things may be anything but trash in my eyes. I told you just now that the silver watch, though it's not worth a cent, is the only thing left us of my father's. You may laugh at me, but my mother is here. He turned suddenly to Porfiry, and if she knew, he turned again hurriedly to Razumohin, carefully making his voice tremble, that the watch was lost. She would be in despair. You know what women are. Not a bit of it. I did not mean that all. Quite the contrary, shouted Razumohin distressed. Was it right? Was it natural? Did I overdo it? Raskolnikov asked himself in a tremor. Why did I say that about women? Oh, your mother is with you, Porfiry Petrovich inquired. Yes, when did she come? Last night. Porfiry paused as though reflecting. Your things would not in any case be lost. He went on calmly and coolly. I have been expecting you here for some time. And as though that was a matter of no importance, he carefully offered the ashtray to Razumohin, who was ruthlessly scattering cigarettes over the carpet. Raskolnikov shuddered, but Porfiry did not seem to be looking at him, and was still concerned with Rasamohin's secrets. What? Expecting him? Why did you why did you know that he had blessed him? Cried Razumohin. Porfy Petrovich addressed himself to Raskolnikov. Your things, the ring and the watch, were wrapped up together. On the paper your name was legibly written in pencil, together with a date on which you left them with her. How observant you are! Raskolnikov smiled awkwardly, doing his very utmost to look him straight in the face, but he failed and suddenly added, I say that because I suppose there were a great many pledges, that it must be difficult to remember them all. But you remember them all so clearly and stupid people, he thought. Why did I add that? But we all, but we know all who have pledges, and you are the only one who hasn't come forward. Porphyry answered with hardly perceptible irony. I haven't been quite well. I heard that too. I heard indeed that you were in great distress about something. You look pale still. I am not pale at all. No, I am quite well. Raskolnikov snapped out rudely and angrily, completely changing his tone. His anger was mounting, he could not repress it. And in my anger, I shall betray myself, flashed through his mind again. Why are they torturing me? Not quite well. Razumohin caught him up. What next? He was unconscious and delirious all yesterday. Would you believe, probably as soon as our backs were turned, he dressed, though he could hardly stand, and gave us the slip and went off on the spree somewhere till midnight, delirious all the time. Would you believe it? Extraordinary. Really delirious. You don't say so. Porphyry shook his head in a womanish way. Nonsense. Don't you believe it? But you don't believe it anyway. Raskolnikov let slip in his anger. But Porphyry Petrovich did not seem to catch those strange words. But how could you have gone out if you hadn't been delirious? Razumohin got hot suddenly. What did you go out for? What was the object of it? And why on the sleigh? Were you in your senses when you did it? Now that all danger is over, I can speak plainly. I am awfully sick of them yesterday. Raskolnikov addressed Petrovich suddenly with a smile of insolent defiance. I ran away from them to take lodgings where they wouldn't find me, and took a lot of money with me. Mr. Zamitov there saw it. Say, Mr. Zamitov, and was I sensible or delirious yesterday? Settle our dispute. He could have strangled Zamitov at that moment. So hateful were his expression and his silence to him. In my opinion, you talked sensibly and even artfully, but you were extremely irritable, Zamitov pronounced dryly. And Nicodemus Fomitch was telling me today, put in Porphyry Petrovich, that he met you very late last night in the lodging of a man who had been run over. And there, said Razumin, weren't you mad then? You gave your last penny to the widow for the funeral. If you wanted to have, give 15 or 20 even, but keep 3 rubles for yourself at least. But he flung away all the 25 at once. Maybe I found a treasure somewhere and you know nothing of it. So that's why I was liberal yesterday. Mr. Zemedov knows I have found a treasure. Excuse me, please, for disturbing you for half an hour. with such trivialities, he said, turning to Porphyry Petrovich with trembling lips. We are boring you, aren't we? Oh no, quite the contrary, quite the contrary. If only you knew how you interest me. It's interesting to look on and listen, and I am really glad you have came forward at last. But you might give us some tea. My throat dry, cried Rasamai. Capital idea. Perhaps we will all keep you company. Wouldn't you like something more essential before tea? Get along with you. Porfily Petrovich went out to order tea. Raskolnikov's thoughts were in a furor. He was in a terrible exasperation. The worst of it is they don't disguise him. They don't care to stand on ceremony. And how if you didn't know me at all? Did you come to talk to Nicomed Fomich about me? So they don't care to hide that they are tracking me like a pack of dogs. They simply spit in my face. He was shaking with rage. Come, strike me openly. Don't play with me like a cat with a mouse. It's hardly civil. Perfectly provish, but perhaps I won't allow it. I shall get up and throw the whole truth in your ugly face, and you will see how I despise you. He could hardly breathe. And what if it's only my fancy? What if I am mistaken and through inexperience I get angry and don't up my nasty part? Perhaps it's all unintentional. All their phrases are the usual ones, but there is something about them. It all might be said, but there is something. Why did he say bluntly with her? Why did Zamidov add that I spoke artfully? Why do they speak in that tone? Yes, the tone. Razumovin is sitting here. Why does he see nothing? That innocent blockhead never does see anything. A feverish again. Did Porphyry wink at me just now? Of course, it's nonsense. What could he wink for? Are they trying to upset my nerves or they teasing me? Either it's ill fancy or they know. Even Zamidov is rude. Is Zamidov rude? Zamidov has changed his mind. I foresaw he could change his mind. He is at home here, while it's my first visit. Porphyry does not consider him a visitor, sits with his back to him. They are as thick as thieves, no doubt, over me. Not a doubt they were talking about me before we came. Do they know about the flood? If only they would make haste. When I said that I ran away to take a flat, he let it pass. I put that in cleverly about a flat. It may be of use afterwards. Delirious indeed, ha ha ha. He knows all about last night. He did not know of my mother's arrival. The hag had written the date on in pencil. You were wrong. You won't catch me. There are no facts. It's all supposition. You produce facts. The flat even isn't a fact, but delirium. I know what to say to them. Do they know about the fact? I won't go without finding out. What did I come for? But I being angry now maybe is a fact. How irritable I am. Perhaps that's right. To play the invalid. He is feeling me. He will try to catch me. Why did I came? All this flashed like a lightning through his mind. Porfiry Petrovich returned quickly. He became suddenly more jovial. Your party yesterday, brother, has left my head rather, and I am out of sorts altogether. He began in quite a different, laughing to last mine. Was it interesting? I left you yesterday at the most interesting point. Who got the best of it? Oh, no one, of course. They got on to the everlasting question, floated off into space. Only fancy, Rhodia, what we got onto yesterday. Whether there is such a thing as crime. I told you that we talked our heads off. What is there strange? It's an everyday social question, Raskolnikov asked, answered casually. The question wasn't quite like that of that periphery. Not quite, that's true. Razumin agreed at once, getting warm and hurried as usual. Listen, Aurora, and tell us your opinion. I want to hear it. I was fighting tooth and nail with them and wanted you to help me. I told them you are coming. It's began with a socialist doctrine. You know their doctrine. Crime is a protest against the abnormality of the social organization and nothing more. And nothing more, no other causes admitted. You were wrong there, cried Porfiry Petrovich. He was noticeably animated and kept laughing as he looked at Razumov, which made him more excited than ever. Nothing is admitted, Razumov interrupted with heat. I am not wrong. I will show you their pamphlets. Everything with them is the influence of environment and nothing else. Their favorite phrase, from which it follows that if society is normally organized, all crime will cease at once, since there will be nothing to protest against, and all men will become righteous in one instant. Human nature is not taken into account, it is excluded, it is not supposed to exist. They don't recognize that humanity, developing by a historical living process, will become at last a normal society. But they believe that a social system that has come out of some mathematical brain is going to organize all humanity at once and make it just a sinless in an instant, quicker than any living process. That's why they instinctively dislike history. Nothing but ugliness and stupidity in it, and they explain it all as stupidity. That's why they so dislike in living process of life. They don't want a living soul. The living soul demands life. The soul won't obey the rule of mechanics. The soul is an object of suspicion. The soul is retrograde. But they want though it smells of death and can be made of India rubber, at least is not alive and has no will in survival and won't revolt. And it comes in the end to their reducing everything to the building of walls and the planning of rooms and passages in a phalanstery. The phalanstery is ready indeed, but our human nature is not ready for the phalanstery. It wants life. It hasn't completed in its vital process. It's too soon for the graveyard. You can't skip over nature by logic. Logic presupposes three possibilities, but there are millions. Cut away a million and reduce it all to the question of comfort. That's the easiest solution of the problem. It's seductively clear and you must not think about it. That's the great thing. That's the great thing. You must not think. The whole secret of life lies in 2 pages of print.